What it do? What it do? It's your boy Big J. Um, Big J go brazy. You already know what it do. I got my boy Kyle Edwards. Like what's your PS4 name? Uh, K Glizzy or
No, no,
Case?
it's no, okay. So it's
Oh man.
Kaiser Gamer
Oh,
84.
Kaizy.
Yeah, because that was like a nickname that my uncles and stuff gave me as a kid, so I just kind of used that.
Gotcha. Yeah, man. Well, I got my boy. You said like Kyle Edwards in the building, man. How you doing, my brother?
I'm good, man. Very, got some interesting topics to talk about, but in sports world, a lot going on, and I've just been excited to kind of catch some different things, whether it's NBA, college basketball, and all that kind of stuff. So
Yeah,
good time.
yeah. I know we got the like the holidays around the corner, with Christmas around the corner. Do you have anything on your wish list for Christmas?
Yeah, I mean, I've kind of been past all that, looking for gifts and all that. I just, chill with family and, call it a day.
I do want to with two things. I want like Dylan said, this new Xbox controller, which is like has like a battery pack. Cause I'm tired of using like batteries.
Hmm.
Cause my cousin recommended me get this battery like charger that you plug into the
Yeah.
wall. I'm tired of switching out batteries, so he said to get this controller on Amazon. It's like maybe like a buck, like $100 maybe. And then I want a webcam for my Xbox, so when I go like on Twitch, I can like from a streaming. So I want just two things, not really too complicated, but hopefully I get those things. But I definitely see like me being a streamer and like me being playing games. I feel like when I'm playing games, I mean people want to see a name to the or a face to the name. So I feel like um, instead of just using audio, I'd rather just get a camera, get a webcam. So hopefully Santa
Yeah,
bless me this Christmas. So
I understand that Xbox life because,
I
I
didn't.
mean, you,
Yeah, I
you know I
just.
play PlayStation, but I,
Yeah.
I had a 360. I actually have an Xbox One. It's just that I mainly got it for like Halo, but the last Halo was,
Right. Right.
wasn't really that good, at least to me. But well, I have been more of a PlayStation Nintendo kid, so
Yeah.
I understand what Xbox people go through.
Okay, we got a couple comments. Key, what's going on, Key? What's up, guys? How you doing? How you doing? Key's from. This is so the JJL Sports Talk is not part of the Sports Empire Network. But Key is a I would say the mastermind of Sports Network. The Big Three podcast would not be the Big Three podcast without Key and Freddie. Um, but Key also said that you messing out. What do you mean messing out? You mean on
I think you're talking about your
Xbox or?
controller. Yeah.
Oh yeah, he's just saying about you better get them orange batteries. It will charge orange battery. What orange batteries? Anyways, we'll talk about that. I never heard of orange batteries, but yeah. Thank you, Keith, for commenting. Keep on commenting. So I guess the first topic, the whole Brittney Griner news. Um, so there was, a couple months, like what, 10 months ago, 9 months ago, there was news that she was playing overseas basketball. But she got caught with a little, like a pen, a vape pen. And Russian authorities caught her, I guess, through TSA, I guess, and, detected it and detained her. I know they've been going back and forth and with legal issues about how can she get released and what matter can she get released. Before I give my thought, I just want to hear your thoughts. I know before off camera you said there's a lot of views going on that you've seen. Some saying that people are happy that she's back home. Some saying she deserves what she got. Some saying that there are people incarcerated for weed and stuff and still in jail and not being released, but she's getting released. So yeah, just tell me what you're going like. Tell me what's going on, man.
All
Before
right,
I go
so
into.
no, I understand. I am a big sports fan, but I do pay attention to a lot of political type stuff because I do find it kind of interesting the world that we're in right now. You can basically tie everything down to political affiliation for the most part, and they will basically turn every little story into like this side of the aisle versus that side of the aisle. So, Brittney Griner, she's been playing in Russia for a few years, so I'm sure she probably understands what the rules are, whatever. The whole vape pen thing, I guess it had CBD oil in it or whatever. I guess it broke some rule over there. I don't know. Never been to Russia. Don't know much about, how they govern themselves, but it was clear that it was just kind of, this is, I guess, is right before the whole Russia Ukraine situation. So Russia on the world stage was looked at as, not in the most favorable light. And she kind of just fell victim to circumstance where, her being American, Russia wanted to prove some point or whatever, she got detained. I'm not saying that she shouldn't have been detained or gotten some trouble for it because if it broke a rule over there, fine. But I guess the sentencing she got made it seem like she was probably like a drug smuggler or something. And it's like it's just a vape pen. So I understand where people were, crying out for her to come back because, it didn't make sense for her to spend 9 years for a vape pen. That just sounds crazy. And then your point about, people over here in jail for marijuana charges and all that. So I think basically, President Biden has said something like he wants those sentences to kind of be like done with and released to people. And now it's like state level whether they want to do it or not. So I think the president understands that in this world where we're understanding the I guess medical reasons with marijuana and all that kind of stuff, I feel like he wants to see that type of thing not be a thing anymore, where people are thrown in jail for simple possession or whatever. But I guess that's not really the point. But now you're looking at it where one side, which I guess you could say is probably more aligned with the former president, is trying to treat Brittney Griner like she's this like hardened criminal who hates America. Why would you bring her back? And it's just like that whole thing leads down to the Kaepernick and the kneeling. We saw how that went. One side said Kaepernick was un-American. The other side was like, it's actually American of him to stand up for human rights peacefully, just kneeling. So every little thing becomes political, which is one of the major issues with the world, where it's like, why can't you just be happy that she's out of the conditions over there and she's back home? Leave it at that. We don't need to hear about, oh, this guy should have gotten out before her, where the other guy, he's over there for larceny, espionage, dishonorably discharged from the Marines. It's like that's way more serious than a vape pen. And people. I mean, I think I guess you saw the show probably yesterday on Sports Empire Network, the Three Shots, where they kind of went through this, and they had a great point. Like most of us wouldn't have known the Marine's name until Brittney Griner got released.
Right.
That guy's been
I
over
think
there
I
for a
think I
couple of
think his
years.
name was tossed around like in like the like I think I heard that name Victor before and like because they were trying to see who
No,
they
I'm talking
should.
about the Marine who's over there, the Paul Whalen guy.
Oh, oh yeah, yeah. Okay,
The one
okay.
that now Brittany's been released. Now he's like everybody's talking about him. Bring him over, and Biden has talked about that as well. He said he's been negotiating for Whalen as well. If he could, he would have done Whalen and Brittney Griner to get them out together. Russia was like, no, we're willing to negotiate Brittney. That's it. For them, Whalen is a much bigger deal. So it'd probably take a whole lot more to get him out. And I feel like with Biden as well as Brittany's wife, who's been going around talking about bring Brittney home, WNBA support, NBA support for her as well. I feel like Biden saw an opportunity and took it. Yes, we could talk about the guy who's going back. He's pretty bad individual, but that's kind of how it works in this political world where it's like Russia wasn't going to give her away for nothing. So
Right.
that's kind of where I am with it. It's like, be happy that she's back here. Leave it at that. I don't need to see, these clips on TikTok or whatever of her like missing dunks and people talking about this is who we brought back. It's like, why do we need to do that?
Yeah, I mean, you kind of hit every point, and like I said, like off air, like before we went on the show, I was saying how like I don't know, like I'm 100% happy that she's home. Perfect time before the holidays. Be with family, her wife. I don't know if she has any kids. I'm not sure, but
Yeah.
family, kids.
Mhm.
I'm happy about that. So let get that out of the way. I'm excited. But just the fact that I find it peculiar that this all like transpired during the Ukraine and Russian wars, where it wasn't really a good time to make this kind of like news splash. Obviously, Russia. Um, People can say a lot about Russia. Putin can do it. Does what he does.
Mhm.
You don't want to mess with him, and people are saying like Russia was using us really as a pawn and like a big chess game. Like you said, Putin and Russia wasn't going to just give away anything.
Mhm.
And but then there's some things where people say that okay, well, maybe she knew what she was doing. She had a vape pen, but then again, maybe she didn't know the Russian laws. Um, and I mean, I thought when they went to court in Russia, like when they sentenced her, like I thought she was gonna go away. I thought the whole trade exchange was off
Mhm.
off the table. But now that's why I was like kind of like surprised that they got it done but obviously the USA and Biden. I mean, if they didn't get it done, then Biden knowing that. I mean, I know this is a sports show, but knowing that if this didn't get done and knowing that the elections are in 2024, that could deter or detour his. Oh, I mean, it could have. I mean, a little bit, but I just didn't like it to come down to this. It shouldn't have to come down to a prisoner swap. Like you said, what like his nickname is like Master of Destruction or something like that,
They
or
call him,
Master of Death or something like
yeah, they
that.
call him the Merchant of Death.
Merchant
He
of
was he
Death.
was on a 25-year sentence. He served 15 years of it already. Yeah, he was. Yeah, his past is like crazy. He
Yeah,
like
I mean,
sells weapons to like both sides of a conflict just to make money, of course. And
yeah.
war is good business for him, basically.
I think so. I think her legal team said that she. I think they're right now they're in San Antonio. I think she did was back on the court practicing, but
Hmm.
their legal team said that she might come out with a statement this week, possibly on her side. But they had no plans of as of right now to get back into WNBA, which obviously is understandable because she's been in Russia for 10 months, kind of being like locked up and like I said, we both are not Russian or from Russia, so we don't know the experience of like the Russian prisons there. So like, but I've heard that they're crucial, harsh, labor. Some prisons are like harsh labor, harsh work. They treat their prisoners like crap. But yeah, I mean, I'm happy that she's back home in the USA. Um, I feel like everyone is to see her back because I know the
Well,
well, I'm saying like in the WNBA community and like the
yeah,
sports world.
yeah.
But I just didn't like the way that things went down with the trade and the swap. Just because you said like, yeah, just one pin shouldn't deteriorate a person's career rather than a person who's like He's a merchant he was a criminal, really. So we were just kind of like, this is Russia, and we were in the Russia's hands. Like they really had, the upper hand on us because they didn't really have to
Well,
release Brittney Griner average.
that's true, but I think in a case like this, you might just have to take the L on it, only because I feel like the fear was with the whole Russia Ukraine thing. You've seen how crazy that's gotten, and the fact that it's still going on several months
Right.
now is even crazier. I kind of think probably on Brittany's wife's behalf, she's probably worried, what an unhinged Putin, what it could be like in jail for Brittany in the coming months under a guy who seems like he's getting more and more extreme. And that's probably where the worry was. I mean, we've already
Mm.
seen. I heard this yesterday. I didn't even know that she had to cut her locks off. And
Yeah,
I
she has like a
googled the
shortcut
story. It's
now.
like
Yeah.
because of the freezing temperatures over there, she cut her hair off. And I was like, I mean, I'm pretty sure she didn't want to have to go through many more months of conditions like that. They interviewed the guy who was on the plane when she was coming back, and I think he was talking about how when she boarded the plane, she was like the nicest person. He showed her to her seat, and he was like, I'll give you some time. You just went through a bunch, and she was like, no, I've been in there for several months now by myself. I want to talk. And the guy was like, she went up to everybody on the plane, talked to them about whatever, introduced herself, got to know people. He was like, she was like the nicest person. And I feel like that is good to hear because it could have been
Yeah, I
very
mean,
easy.
I
Like she gets on the plane, freaks out, doesn't
oh
know
yeah.
what to do. At least we see that, Russia didn't completely break her down.
I mean, when we
So
talk
I
about
think that's a
mental
good place to
health,
start.
like when we talk about mental health, yeah, like how we all know. Well, we don't. We both don't know, but I mean, like incarceration, here is even, if you're locked up for like 25 years, 10 years, even 5 years, how that can
Yeah.
be on the brain. The fact that he was in there for 10 months in a Russian prison, where it's more crucial and or it's more like it's more what's the word? The prisons are more not dangerous, but more um, cynical, I guess, in a way,
Yeah.
because like I mean, obviously we have work in prisons here, like, but those work over there is like slave work over there, in cold temperatures. Um, but yeah, just the fact that I mean, I'm glad that she's back home, safe with her family. But yeah, you're right. You give away a good point saying how she could have broke down, and not talked to anybody. She could have just kept to herself because being locked in isolation and with people you don't know, people with other murderers, other people who've done worse crimes than her, that can have a mental block in her brain. But
Mm-hmm.
the fact that she was talking to everyone, and I mean, I haven't met Brittney Griner personally, but I believe that she's a nice woman. I feel like she has bright personality even before this whole thing happened. Very under the
Mm-hmm.
radar. Not really on social media like that. She just played ball.
Yeah.
And I mean, all her peers and her coaches and her players and her friends, can back that up.
Mm-hmm.
But that can have, I mean, on the average human being, being locked up in that Russian prison for 10 months plus, and then getting handed down a 9-year sentence, that can really affect,
Yeah.
your brain. Hey, am I gonna get out? Am I gonna get released? Think about how many times that Brittany's legal team had tried to get her out. There's so many times we're okay, 4 months in, maybe not 4 weeks in, 5 weeks in, am I gonna get out? 1 month passed, nothing happens, or they tried to get out,
Mm-hmm.
and then the scenes of her you being handcuffed and just being locked in a cage like an animal. It's terrible, man.
Yeah.
So the fact that she's happy and back in the States is very good, but I had the platform to say this right now. I hope this is a life lesson to us going to a foreign country, a player, you know, to watch out. You know what I'm saying? Because the legal system here is not going to be the same as the legal system in Russia or Ukraine or Korea. I think North Korea is even worse than Russia, but I mean, I think they're equal for like
Yeah,
concentration
there's
camps.
certain countries that you understand when you go there. That if you get locked up there, it could be big trouble. And
Oh yeah,
I mean, when you talk about her, going to Russia and stuff, that kind of brings a point to the WNBA because a lot of their players have to play the WNBA season, and then to supplement and make more money, they have to go overseas in the off season to play. And
mm,
I know, was it Kelsey Plum has been one of those who's been outspoken about increasing pay for WNBA players because I think a lot of them, especially with this Brittney situation, are probably looking at like if we could make it so that we don't have to go overseas in the off season, then we'd much rather be in the WNBA. And most men or whatever hear that when it comes to sports, you hear uh, women athletes say equal pay. A lot of them go off the deep end and are just like, for what? Men's sports are better and all this kind of stuff. It's like, now Kelsey Plum has explained it differently. She's not looking to make, LeBron money. She's talking about how the NBA players, the revenue sharing, I think is 50-50 with the owners. WNBA is not even close to that. I think that's what she's talking about. Now, other issue with that is the NBA like funds a lot of the NBA of the WNBA to cover their operating because I think they operate at a loss, but the NBA kind of just covers it because they understand how important the league is in the grand scheme of things for women's empowerment and all that kind of stuff. Give a place for women to aspire to play professionally. So I think that fight's going to continue on. But
mhm.
but you make a great point. Hopefully, players who do decide to go over there now after Brittney, be more careful.
Do the
Just
research.
yeah, don't do anything that could land you in a similar
I mean,
situation.
that's
'Cause,
where that's where I mean. To be honest, I mean Russia. Yeah, you don't want to mess with Russia, but that's where anywhere you go. Like you go to like a foreign, on a vacation. If you go to Mexico, if you go to you know, anywhere, you Mexico City, even we're dangerous
oh yeah,
places. Always make sure you do your research, make sure like where the safest places are. Um, but that's like another question. Like, did Brittany and her like team did they do the research on Russia or like did she just be like that's it I'm just
I
gonna
feel like she probably knows the rule, but she probably figured the worst might
oh so
be
what
maybe
yeah
they
like
confiscate the vape pen and I just don't travel with it. Sure, I could get another one when I get back here. I'm pretty sure she didn't think a vape pen's going to turn into
the whole
10
yeah
months sitting over there
that's
trying to
where I
figure
think
out,
that
like,
yeah
yeah,
that's where that's where I draw a line where like that's just ridiculous like they should have just like I mean even if it was I mean I know pens and over here I think they're legal or slowly getting legal. I mean even here like if you get caught they'll probably just like, point to the side, confiscate it, throw it away, maybe talk to you like like use your first
mhm.
warning whatever, and then let it go. But I mean obviously different airports and different countries have different rules and different governments and stuff. So like you said, and like we both said, this is where you have to do your research on like on and I mean I think that doesn't fall on Brittany. I think that falls on more of her maybe her team, her not her legal team because her just her agents or stuff. Because I mean obviously her she had a little part of it, doing her own research because we all have phones, we all have Google, so a little bit falls on her part of not researching what or maybe she did, but I thought the big part is like hey Brittany, like you shouldn't have brung this, pin on, here. This is what Russia's rules are. Don't bring it. Or maybe she knew, and maybe they were aware. There's always two sides to a story. So, but that's why I'm trying to. That's why I'm curious to see like if Brittany does come out and have a statement. I want to hear her side of the story because like it's gonna be very interesting to see like her for her mindset because we only like
She'll do a sit down with somebody, whether
yeah like
it's like an ESPN personality that she knows through the WNBA, like a Holly Rowe or something. I could see her doing
Yeah.
a sit down with one of them. I do wonder though,
Hmm.
maybe with her thinking, I bet if a Russian person had a vape pen at that same time at the airport, probably nothing would have happened. But like I said, the way that Russia was
Like I wonder,
operating
I wonder how it
was
got caught. Did she have it caught in her hand, or was it like in her bag, or like was it in her pocket? Because
I think it was in her possession. I don't think she like had it in her hand. When they do the search of your stuff.
yeah.
I think they found it. I don't think she had it like literally out in her hand. I don't think so, but I'm not too sure about that part.
Yeah. What up, Coach? Coach Dante, another mastermind, God.
Yeah.
Coach Dante is everywhere. You see him on his own podcast, doing play-by-play. But I want to give a shout out to Coach Dante, man. Hopefully, we'll do a play-by-play soon, man.
Yeah, I gotta do one with him too.
But actually, whoever's viewing it, like, I just want to hear y'all's views on this whole situation. I want to hear. I'm a guy who likes to. I'm an open book, so I want to. I'm sure Kyle is an open book too. I want to pick people's brains about the situation because people have different views on this. So I want to hear like y'all's whoever's watching. Your views. If you're coming to the show, watching it right now, we are talking about Brittney Griner, her being released. So just to let y'all be on topic but as we wait for responses, let's just go to the next topic. So the next topic is the World Cup.
Yep.
A lot of teams have been knocked out. A lot of great teams have been knocked out. I guess my topic is we all saw that video, or maybe not yet for you, but seen that video of like Ronaldo walking out crying.
Yeah, I saw it.
Do you think Portugal, knowing that it's Messi, Ronaldo, even Neymar, kind of like that third player, the original, and then Mbappe is new, but
Yeah.
it's the original three: Messi, Ronaldo, Neymar. Just the top two. I guess. I feel like Portugal kind of screwed Ronaldo because obviously, who don't do the research on Ronaldo, like he's been through a lot the last couple of years. The death of his newborn child, and that can weigh in on everybody. Yes, he does make a lot of money. I get that, but if like benching Ronaldo is like benching Messi for Argentina, like this their top player in a way. Like if you want to advance, why would you bench your best player?
I mean,
You know what
on
I'm saying?
name recognition, yes, it's the same.
Yeah,
but,
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Obviously, right now Messi has a different, aspiration. Has definitely he's kind of like up there. I guess he's like ranked a little bit higher than Ronaldo, but just the fact that Ronaldo has been through a lot, family wise, just him dealing with the organization at Man United. Personally, I think that he wants to leave Man United because he had an interview where I think with
Piers Morgan.
Piers Morgan, and how like the organization didn't at that time of his newborn child's death, like they didn't really like take into effect that to give him space, they wanted him to keep on playing. And just the fact that just him crying off the field, obviously he wanted to be on the pitch with the team and contribute, but since you're the FIFA, mind, like just talk to me about your thoughts and if they should have was it the right idea to bench Ronaldo or should they have played him for those last couple games?
So my thought is, yes, you can compare Messi and Ronaldo. I mean, those two compare each other. I think more so Ronaldo than Messi, but the only difference I have is Messi plays in the midfield. Totally different game because Messi is more of getting the possession, making the run when he can. But he's in the middle of the field, little different. Ronaldo's up top. He's your goal scorer. But the problem is Ronaldo isn't the same Ronaldo that we remember from, his early days in Man United when he was like a younger player before he moved on to, I think he moved on to Real Madrid or something like that. He he's a guy who's basically he's not going to give you 90 minutes for the most part. And I feel like part of the stuff with Man United was, yes, the death of his baby, and he didn't feel like the club treated him properly, or I think he said like he felt like some people at Man United were kind of doubting the story or something like that, but I can't fully remember that part. But then it was also that coming into the season, he wanted to leave because he understands he's getting on the later years of his career. He wanted to play Champions League football, and Manchester United wasn't in the Champions League. That's kind of where it started. Man United gets a new manager. There's a feeling out process. The new manager kind of had a different vision that didn't really involve Ronaldo. And in Ronaldo's mind, he's still a star, still a starter. But to Eric Ten Hag, who's the new guy at Manchester United, he saw Ronaldo as a guy who's still effective, just not what he used to be. And I think they think Ronaldo still thinks that way, which is different than how they are, because they have guys like Rashford, Martial, Anthony that play up top as well, and those guys are all younger. They're probably faster. They're more dynamic. With Ronaldo now, it's usually headers in the box. He's still great at that because he can still jump out of the gym, to use a basketball term.
Yeah.
And with Portugal, I think Portugal's kind of the same way. They're trying to.
I'm not trying to compare Pepe to Ronaldo, but Pepe is up there, and they're playing him. I mean, obviously he's played.
Pepe's a defender. For defenders,
that's what I was going to say. That
if you're going to find an old man on the soccer field, they're going to be at defense, because for them it's more of anticipation, using their body to ward off people. For Ronaldo up top, you can't be old and slow. I'm not saying Ronaldo's old and slow, but I think for Portugal, they're trying to transition away from Ronaldo's era where he dominated at Portugal, because they're bringing in new talent. And I think that's the tough thing when it comes to like World Cups and that kind of thing. Managers have a lot of pressure on them, like from Portugal's government and all that. They expect, countries like Portugal, Brazil, Argentina, like look at all the teams who've been eliminated already and have fired the manager like right after. Belgium did it. Mexico did it. Who was the recent one? Well, I think the Netherlands guy was kind of leaving anyway because of health issues. But a lot of these big name countries, they set their sets on the World Cup. They expect greatness, and if they don't get that, somebody has to answer for it. So, yes, you could say maybe if they started Ronaldo, would they have gone further? I don't think so. I mean, the way I looked at it, this Portugal team should have made it out of the group. I predicted that. When they came with Morocco, I said Morocco was going to be tough for them, because the one thing Morocco does, they sit back and they play defense. And if you pay attention to Ronaldo, you can equalize him pretty easily. So I get his frustration, but then I kind of see it from Portugal's side. It's like we don't want to be so reliant on you that when you do move on, we don't have a plan after you. So yeah, it's tough.
Like I'm very I mean, you make up good points, but like from what I've seen in that video of him, walking.
Well, that's everybody. Neymar cried after Brazil lost.
Yeah, but I feel
Messi, if Argentina loses, Messi will cry. It's just because it's every 4 years, it's like a big deal.
Yeah, I mean, and knowing that people say that this is probably his last World Cup, knowing that he could have,
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know what the manager, thought process of benching him. I mean, I know the media has been up his tail, which I don't think that's right. For as a media. I mean, obviously, yeah, he definitely.
Ronaldo
they deserve that.
But Ronaldo wants that attention.
He does,
but means that he's still relevant.
Like from that video, I just think that he could have I feel like he left something off the table. You know what I'm saying? Like he just, again, that's every player, but for him, his body language is like, damn, I could have just helped them out. At least like maybe try to let them advance, but.
I feel like the crime was more of this might have been my last shot. Never won a World Cup. Probably never will at this point, unless if 4 years down the line he wants to be, a sub off the bench where last 10, 15 minutes they have a corner kick. He'll probably still be able to jump really high. You
Is
throw
that
him out there, try to get a goal.
is that really what he's worth now? Just a 15-minute off the bench header guy? He can still score goals.
Ronaldo loves scoring goals.
Yeah. Oh no. Oh, he does.
If that's the best way he can, sure.
I mean, he's still fast. I mean, he's still fast, and not like he's not okay. I would say that he's not the Ronaldo of original Ronaldo. Yeah. He that's Father Time could like catch up to him, but he's still still like
right. But I think in his mind, he
break,
doesn't want to let that fact sink in because he thinks when he's out there, he's the number one guy. You need goals. I'm your guy, and it's like, yes, you can still score goals, but we got some young people coming through that are just as good.
I mean, a lot of people would probably talk about what if Argentina's coach benched Messi, which they're not going to. But I'm saying like there'll be some talks about if Messi didn't got benched, then the coach will probably be fired. You know what I'm saying? Because that's your best player.
Messi, right? Ronaldo's game was always off of speed and his ability to go up in the air. Messi's never been the quickest guy. Yeah. Messi's more of a crafty player, and he still has that ability, which is why he would still play.
Yeah, I feel like
midfielder people to
I just watched old clips of Ronaldo. He would dribble, cross people up, rainbow.
He can't do that anymore.
Well, not anymore. Yeah.
Yeah. So like even at Man United, like last season, if they put the ball at his feet, he can't do those moves that he used to do. Defenders take it off of him.
Like, did he only play how many games did you play this World Cup? Like just a couple games?
I think he only missed one game.
One game, but then they benched him the rest of the games, I think. So
no, he just didn't start, but he played in every game. He's not a 90-minute player anymore. So you either start him and you have to take him off in the 70th minute, or you bring him in later in the game and you can get him for the rest of the game. That's where Ronaldo is right now. Yeah. So, like, I get the tears and all that. I get him wanting to leave Manchester United when he said he wanted to play Champions League football. I understood that. Crazy thing is, if he kind of played it out with Manchester United, they've turned their season around, and they'll probably be in Champions League next season. But he wasn't thinking that far ahead because they were really bad early on, and I think he kind of saw, this team's not going to be good, so I need to get out of here. And then that kind of makes the whole rumor about him going to Saudi Arabia even weirder, because reportedly he wanted to increase his Champions League goal mark. Right. I think Messi was kind of close to it or something like that, but I don't know. We'll have to see where Ronaldo ultimately ends up, because until I actually see him playing in Saudi Arabia, I'm not believing that one.
Yeah, I think the report, it was reported that, Saudi Arabia through the kitchen, sank 300-something million, something like that. I don't know. Something that
they basically said he would be the number one ticket in Saudi Arabian soccer. They'll focus everything on him.
Oh, man.
Yeah, because Saudi Arabian soccer isn't that big of a deal.
No, it's not really.
People might pay attention a little bit now because of how Saudi Arabia played in the World Cup, but most people couldn't name one person who played over there. You bring Ronaldo over there,
I can't.
Everybody's going to be paying attention. I still say he ends up somewhere in Europe.
Do you follow Speed?
Yes.
He is huge Ronaldo fan. Hey, I mean, I'm a Ronaldo fan too, man. But this dude is hilarious, man. He I saw the video where he was leaving the game with security. They're he's leaving security and Ronaldo's not. He's a bigger star than Ronaldo, but
he's had a good past couple of years where he really blew up Speed. So I think he's a star everywhere he goes now.
Yeah. So besides World Cup, the soccer, would you? I mean, if with your soccer mind, where do you rank Ronaldo and Messi? Do you still Messi 1, Ronaldo 2, or has somebody else came into the mix before Ronaldo, or do you still think those two are kind of like, as
Uh,
far as like career?
yeah,
I mean, I know that's hard for like off the brain kind of question to think about, but
I'd probably say Messi is one over Ronaldo. I just
what
like,
doesn't Ronaldo have more Ballon d'Ors over Messi, or is it
I
equal?
mean, oh, he might, but that award too, it sometimes is
It's
kind of
kind
crazy.
of
Yeah,
yeah.
but I think, well, I mean, you could kind of look at that as if you're always in the conversation for that, that usually means you're one of the greats. And even when Ronaldo's won it, Messi's been there. When Messi's won it, Ronaldo's been in the running too. It's just for me, I feel like Messi's playmaking ability is why I put him at number one. And that's with him being a midfielder, he kind of has to be a playmaker. Whereas Ronaldo's up top, his one job is to score goals. So that's what he's going to do. So I'd say Ronaldo's probably slightly the better goal scorer, but Messi's probably the better all around player, playmaker, and all that. In terms of the new crop, like Mbappe is going to be a problem.
Oh man, he's gonna.
That guy, um, the talent that he has, his ability to score goals, the speed that he has right now, like that's old Ronaldo. He would take guys on, blow past them, and
Dude, he's like
score
the Saquon
every
Barkley of soccer, man. You see his quads, man. He's like the
time.
Saquon Barkley of like FIFA, man. Like, dude's like
Well, I mean,
huge.
soccer players, you
Oh
have
yeah,
to be, you have to,
yeah.
be like that body, body wise, because it's 90 minutes if you're one of the stars, and you could possibly go even longer, as we've seen in this World Cup, where you're playing like 10 minutes of extra time first half, another 10 in the second half, 30
Yeah.
minutes of extra time, penalty kicks. So you have to be well conditioned. But yeah, Mbappe, the Gakpo dude from the Netherlands is another guy who's coming up. Even kind of the guy who they had starting like over Ronaldo for Portugal, Leao. Leao is really talented as well. So there's a lot of good young players out there. Um, yeah. So I put Messi over Ronaldo, and I'd probably put Ronaldo over Neymar. Neymar, I think
Neymar
Neymar
was
is
more like, I think like Neymar was kind of like that hybrid Messi Ronaldo. He can he
right.
can juke people out and score. You know what I'm saying, at a
Yeah,
high rate. I'm not sure how old Neymar is. Neymar, he doesn't look like he's aged in the face. Like
I think
he's
Neymar's
like
like
late 30s,
32. No,
32.
Neymar's like early 30s.
Early,
If he
okay, so
if
he's
he
still
plays the
kind
next
of
World Cup, yeah, next World Cup he'd be like mid 30s, so he'd be kind
mid
of like
30s.
the Ronaldo Messi type
He's
age.
still kind of, I mean, not young, but he's still like
Yeah, he still
young.
has some good years ahead of him. The only thing with Neymar is Neymar's kind of played on teams that had way more talent than, well, I can't really say
When
that because
Neymar, he
Messi
had
played at
what?
Barcelona,
Neymar, he
who
had
was really
P.
good.
Neymar, what had
No,
PK?
PSG where Neymar's kind of blown up, but PSG you had Messi there,
Yeah,
Mbappe plays there. It was like really talented around him. Like Ronaldo, when he
I mean
went to
Ronaldo. I
Juventus,
mean he had.
he was the guy.
I mean Ronaldo. He had Bale on Real Madrid. He had Benzema. He had Ramos. He had
Yeah,
Iker
they've all played with really
Casillas.
good players. It's just that I feel
Yeah,
like Neymar's played with really great players more of his career, and I think that's kind of diminished how people look at him.
he
But
like Suarez.
he's crazy talented though.
Yeah,
But I think Neymar could move up to maybe number two if he plays long enough. One day we might see Neymar might have been the best player that we've ever seen.
yeah. So a lot of people say that if staying on the World Cup for a little bit, like a lot of people say that England kind of like crapped the bed. I mean Harry Kane. Um, Harry
English
Kane was
fans,
just, oh man, it
English
was
fans
rough
are
for
something
English.
else, man. So
Oh
I would
man.
equate England fans in terms to just to use like an American sport. England fans might be Cowboys fans,
Oh man.
where England swears every tournament they're going to win it. They have the best talent. They're the best this, the best that. And it's like,
I mean,
yeah, this
they
England,
had Sterling, they had Kane, they had people
yeah,
that
they
were
have
projected to be
talent,
good, you know.
yes.
So yeah,
Problem is, one, their manager likes to play kind of a conservative style. Two, Kane isn't the fastest. He's not the youngest anymore.
yeah,
Uh, Another point, I feel like they're more talented players actually sit on the bench. If you want to talk like Ronaldo of Portugal, like England brings Grealish off the bench. I think for a few games they brought Bellingham off the bench, and I could probably say that those two might be their best playmakers, but for some reason they couldn't start. So unfortunately, England might have wasted their best team they've probably ever sent to the World Cup to not make the final. But the way that England fans were acting after the U.S. loss, they were like loving it because I think they were like hating the fact that the U.S. team was getting a lot of attention and all that stuff. And then they started getting all cocky all of a sudden, like, "Oh, we'll bottle up Mbappe. We know what to do." And I was just like, "Have y'all never seen France play? France is better than y'all."
yeah,
And
Francis.
you saw it on the field. But I mean that, and it's tough to blame Harry Kane. Yes, he missed the penalty kick, but penalty kicks aren't the easiest because it's a
Yeah,
mind game between you and the goalkeeper. You have to get to the fake one way, you shoot the other. He already made one, and then to make a second one, that's tough. So uh, I still say England played pretty well. They just came up short.
yeah. So let me just go to the World Cup pool.
Oh yeah,
So
yeah.
in the
Not
semifinals,
before most.
the Argentina and they face Croatia tomorrow, and they face
That's gonna be an
France face
interesting game.
Morocco. Oh, there was a storyline saying that the refs. Um, you might know where I'm
That's
coming
coming.
from.
That's
You're
coming
already rolling our.
from
you're
Portugal
rolling.
and England.
You're,
They all of a sudden hate the
you're
refs.
roll, no. I'm talking about like how they started with Messi because like there was a play where the ball hit his arm and it handball. They didn't call it. The fact that the refs, the Argentina started. I mean, I don't know who ranks the teams and what side. Like Argentina was in the easiest side of the pool, and like they had the easiest route to. I don't know. I've seen different angles. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
not my views on it, but just different on social media. Like it's like they had to what who they had to beat. They had to beat the table
I
kind of
wouldn't
weird.
say Argentina had the easiest road.
Let me see. When did they start? So and they face what Han? But no, that's not. That wasn't in Oh, so they lost to Saudi Arabia. They beat Mexico, beat Poland, um, beat
Out
Australia,
of that
beat
group, I would say Poland's probably the worst out of that group. Saudi Arabia, we just didn't know a lot about. And
right.
Mexico isn't bad. They're kind of like the U.S. right now, where they're kind of trying to find their way.
Why they're not?
So
Yeah,
I
I
mean,
mean Croatia. I mean they're. I mean, like I didn't know they had a Luka Modric. Man, I forgot about him. Man, how he he played. He was one of the
Croatia's
players who
been
played with.
underrated this whole
They
tournament,
they
and
have been. They
I've
have
said
been.
that depending on who they play, they can make noise in this tournament, and they've got a good chance. It's going to be interesting to see Messi versus Modric in the midfield. That's going to be a fun matchup to watch.
Oh yeah, for sure,
Um,
for sure.
France, Morocco. I kind of feel like with
Morocco. I mean,
Morocco,
they kind of made history being like a what?
Cinderella's about to go back to a pumpkin with Morocco. I think. I don't see how they beat France, but
France
they shocked me for us.
is Pogba on France?
Yeah.
Or
Well,
it,
he is, but he's not there because I think he
he's not.
might be injured.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was trying to see where nationality he's from because one of my friends, he's a big
Yeah, he's
Pogba
French.
fan. So like final thoughts on like the World Cup. Who do your? I mean, obviously Messi's in there, so I mean the favorite would be Argentina. So do you have them going all the way to the final, or
Yeah,
do they
mean,
have
I
the
think it's gonna be.
upper?
I think it'll be Argentina and France,
Oh,
and
that's gonna be a
then
cool one.
yeah, And the
I don't,
fact
I
that
don't know.
France just kind of go back to back, which hasn't been done in the World Cup in forever.
To be honest, I mean, other than Messi, I don't know who's on Argentina that is relevant
Uh,
other than Messi. I mean, is it Higuain, whatever his name is?
I think he's moved on. I think they have like Di Maria.
Oh, Di Maria. Okay, all right, I know him.
That's like their top two, I believe. Yeah.
Yeah,
But most people, you hear Argentina, you just think Messi. So
Messi.
you're not
So,
alone in that. Yeah.
yeah. Yes, I guess we can move on to quickly to the NBA. So I guess my first topic or my first question to you is like, um, you being a Celtics fan, like you're looking from the outside looking or in outside looking in, or inside looking out because you're a Celtics fan. What have you seen Laker wise, improvement wise? I know LeBron was hurt a couple of games. AD had to step up. Now LeBron's back into the mix. Russell Westbrook's doing his thing. Off the bench. AD's putting up MVP caliber numbers. You can argue that, but I mean, it's facts. Yes. Now look, I've been waiting for it, man. You're like, I mean, hey, look, like it's been like 53-17. I mean, they almost beat Philadelphia 76ers. They went to overtime. But what have you seen?
He didn't have a great game against Philadelphia.
Huh?
I will say that AD didn't have a great game against Philadelphia. He kind of got into
like
early foul trouble, which kind of messed
Oh
up.
yeah, 3 fouls in the first quarter, I think.
Yeah, that's understandable.
Yeah, I mean, Philly should have bottled that game up, man. Like they had an 18-point, 20-point lead. I know Key and Gene and Cole and who else was a Philly fan in that group chat?
Well, I mean, I'll give them credit though. They are very critical of Philly, and they seem like they understand that Philly's not a title contender like currently. And like interesting enough, I did an episode for my channel where I kind of did a ranking system of title contenders because I know Mark Jackson asked Jeff Van Gundy the other day, like, how many teams do you have in your title picture? I think he said 4 at first, and then he said 6. So I was like, I did an episode to kind of rank them all to see if I agreed with him. I actually think there's less than 6 teams that are title contenders right now, but I kind of understand where he's coming with that. And I got to the Lakers, I had to think about it because are they title contenders? No, but
Not
I
right
feel
now,
like
but
right, and I put them in the group where they have health questions / probably need to make a move, and I think you can agree with that. That's probably where the Lakers are right now because
I mean, I think they're two traded away players for getting into that. I mean, they're 11-15. So I mean, they kind of have a soft part of the schedule right now. I think they played the Pistons last night. Let me look at their schedule just for the couple games. I mean, they had the Celtics Friday or no Tuesday. Actually tomorrow. Oh wow, B3 podcast during the game. Well, that's at 10:00, and then they have the Nuggets, Wizards.
That's a game the Lakers need more than the Celtics.
Oh, for sure. We'll get into that after this segment. Because actually, you know what, we can get to right now because the next segment is: are the Celtics really the best team in the NBA record-wise? Because when I'm looking at the schedule, or I mean, I'm not schedule. I mean, the standings. I mean, yes, they are 21-9 in the East, but I mean, Milwaukee's right behind their tail with 19 wins. Their heads game back. Cleveland is 4 games back. And then looking at the West, I mean, New Orleans Pelicans, they're like, if they were in the Eastern Conference, they'll be 3 games behind them. Because they're 18. So I mean, are they the best? I mean, yes, I would agree that they're the best offensive team out there right now because Tatum and Brown are going off right now. But overall, I mean, there's teams that can catch up to them. Like Milwaukee, they're 2 games or half game back. Cleveland's 4 games back. So it's just that mix of those top 4 teams. Even Brooklyn, they're like 5.5 games back. But
I'm
yes,
not
they are
worried
number
about
one in. I mean, they are number one in the division. But
Mhm.
I mean, are they a runaway kind of team right now? Just because I'm looking at it just like standing wise. Like I can
Mhm.
see they're like 10 games ahead of the conference. Like okay, yeah, they're the front winners. But I mean, half
Well,
game,
it'd
four
also be
game.
crazy to be that far ahead this early in the season. Like
Oh yeah.
it'd be the wildest thing to see.
Well,
Now, obviously, Milwaukee's not going anywhere because we know Milwaukee's a really good team. Giannis, I mean, you can argue best player in basketball. Some people would argue for other people. I think Giannis is the best player right now. So even Celtics, players will tell you that they're watching Milwaukee because they know Milwaukee's going to be there in the end. Um,
right.
Cleveland, maybe next year. I think they're going to hang around for a while,
I
but
mean, they're 17-10. I mean, they're not really. I mean, they're. I'm gonna say next. I mean, they are kind
well, I'm
of
just saying,
still
I
there.
think
Yeah.
I think Cleveland might be a move away as well because
Yeah.
Mitchell, getting Mitchell was a great move for them because he filled a need that they really had, where late in the game they don't have a guy who can get you a bucket. Donovan Mitchell can do that. Um, who else? Oh, Brooklyn. I mean, if you're gonna guarantee me KD, Kyrie, and Ben Simmons are all playing well, sure, I'll listen to that. But I've got major questions about Ben Simmons.
Yeah.
I've got questions about Kyrie because I saw it last season in the playoffs where he completely disappeared after the first game, and I I need to see if he can do better than that when the playoffs roll around.
Yeah.
Out west, I mean, everybody talks about Phoenix.
Fans have their own issues, man.
They really do,
They really
and
do.
I think it's hilarious what's going on over there.
I mean,
Where
the Pelicans are making the Suns their daddy right now. Like, I mean, I'll say it. The
yeah,
Suns, yo, who's your daddy? The Pelicans. They beat y'all twice.
I mean, there's other teams that have passed Phoenix by. To
Oh
be
yeah.
honest with
I
you.
mean, they're 16-11, but I mean, that's.
But now the thing is like everybody on Phoenix wants to act like they want to fight people, and it's like there's nobody on Phoenix that's intimidating.
Mm-mm.
Chris Paul, no. Campaign, I mean, what is he up to all of a sudden? He makes a
Jesus.
layup. He wants to like bucket people and act like he's like,
I
bruh.
mean, I felt with Cameron Payne, he just seems like a.
I'm glad you're
freaking not
reacting
be.
this way because when I think about campaign, I do the
Cameron
same
Payne
thing
is
too.
like
There's something about him.
that's not right. Like,
Yeah,
yeah,
like
he can get buckets, but it's just like his attitude. It's like, damn, brother, like slow down, my dude. Like, chill
yeah.
out, take a bucket, get back down the goddamn court, get back, stop freaking bark at the refs, stop making fights. I mean,
I
you
I just think
see,
that whole team is looking at the same as
no
Chris
wonder why
Paul. It's like,
freaking Zion goddamn did a 3 second dunk on your team. Like, I mean, Zion, like, mad respect in the press
mhm,
conference. He was like, hey, last year I was injured. So I
mhm,
see my boys get knocked down by this team. It hurt
yeah.
me. I get it. The unwritten rule, you shouldn't do that. He did
That
get that. He was like,
rule
I understand.
is
It
so
was my.
stupid.
It is. It is. I do agree. But he was a bigger man and say I messed up. I
Mhm,
shouldn't have did that. But damn, I really did want to do that because I was sidelined. I wanted to be out there. I saw my
mhm.
team get get shot down by this team in the playoffs. I wasn't there to help them out. Why not rub it in their face? And now I'm not. Now fine. Now your point. They want to start fights. I mean, so what? You're getting blown out. If you really Suns, I have a message for y'all Suns. I mean, I hope y'all hearing this, but
But the thing is, Chris Paul missed a layup right before that.
exactly.
The game was over. Chris Paul didn't have to do that, but he went for the layup, missed it,
Yeah,
and I think Larry Nance got the
this is
rebound.
about
Was
to
like,
be
"Hey, Zion's down there. I'm gonna
this is
throw it
about to
to
be
him."
this is about to be a vulgar episode. I'm so sorry for the cussing, but get your freaking shit together, Suns. Because like I said, the Pelicans are your daddy.
Yeah.
Zion's back in town. Get y'all shit together for real, because Chris Paul, maybe you should retire, brother. I mean, I don't see you winning a championship this year, brother.
Yeah.
Hey, but I do respect that he definitely, I think, in his career, I think he deserved at least one ring. At least in his career, to say like, he's up there. But I mean, he had his chances to team up with LeBron. I get it. He don't want to take. I get it. He don't want to take LeBron's. He don't want to be the Robin to LeBron's Batman. Either the Banana Boat crew with LeBron, Carmelo, Chris Paul, D Wade. I get that. He wants to have his own team. I get that. But Chris Paul, I mean, if you don't get to the playoffs, or if you don't get to the finals this year, just call it quits, man. Just call it quits. Chill with the family. Do your State Farm commercials, brother. Just focus on like your Kevin Hart TV career, bro.
Chris Paul speaks to kind of a thing in the NBA where it's like Chris Paul early in his career when he was the best player on like those Hornet teams in New Orleans before they went to Charlotte and all that kind of stuff, and his time in Houston or whatever. For a guy that small to be the best player, I think it has its limitations. I will say those Clipper years, if they were tougher mentally,
those were his best years with him, JJ Redick, Blake Griffin. I mean, prime. I'm talking about like not Kyle Edwards bragging that Blake Griffin past his prime gets a dunk. I'm saying,
hey, Blake Griffin is balling though.
No, I agree.
Yeah.
But like I'm saying, Chris Paul was like prime. Blake Griffin, JJ Redick, who else?
That's the thing. They acted like those Clippers teams didn't have talent. Like he had Jamal Crawford one year. He had DeAndre Jordan when DeAndre Jordan was actually functional
in his prime. Yeah, doubling on Brandon Knight.
I believe Reggie Jackson was there for a couple of years.
Really?
I think they overlapped where Reggie Jackson came off the bench.
Yeah,
there was a lot of talent those Clipper teams. It was just that they got to the playoffs, and then mentally they just got weak and would lose. The Houston years with Harden, they had that year where they had the Warriors down, let the Warriors back.
Was he on the Thunder, or am I tripping? Was he on the Thunder? I thought he was.
Weird year or two in Oklahoma City where
it's like
they were decent, but they weren't really title contenders.
Yeah. But Suns, man, Cameron Payne, Cam Payne, get back on freaking defense, brother, and don't be getting to fights because, don't start what you can't finish, man. Just get back on defense.
The one tough guy they probably had wants out, Jay Crowder. Jay Crowder's probably the toughest guy on the team, but he doesn't even want to play there anymore. And
Devin Booker, no one's heard of Devin Booker either, so.
Why would you be? Yeah. DeAndre Ayton, no. He plays soft, so why all of a sudden would I be afraid of you?
He's soft, right? Yep, yeah.
Yeah, but it just doesn't make it. It kind of seems like they're a team that made the finals a couple years ago, but now kind of realize the door probably closed on them, but they don't want to act like that. And now they're seeing the Pelicans are better than them, and they're like, wait a minute. The Pelicans used to be really bad. And you mean already they're better than us? Memphis is coming.
I can see. This is a hot take. I can see LA catching up to them. If they keep on losing games, they're 11.
Not a hot take coming from you.
They're 11. They're 11.
You're a Laker fan. That'd be a hot take if I said it.
Yeah, I guess. But people. A lot of people see Lakers. How they play.
I get what you're saying. Yeah.
But. Yeah, I could definitely see them. If the Lakers can catch the Suns off guard and then winning games. I know they got a cuff. They got the Celtics. I think tomorrow the Nuggets. I think then they have the Kings.
Don't sleep on the Kings either.
Yeah, they're nice too.
They may not play a lot.
But don't be surprised if the Lakers catch up to the Suns, man, because obviously they're 16-11 still. But. They gotta
it's gonna be tough for Phoenix this season.
They gotta get it together.
But I don't know how you fix all that. Um, DeAndre Ayton was basically out the door in the offseason, and then Phoenix out of nowhere matched the contract and brought him back. And now it almost seems like he's playing like a guy who's just going through the motions because he doesn't want to be there anymore.
Right.
And Chris Paul's not getting any younger. So we could see maybe in a couple year time that Booker's the only guy left. Then Booker might want to leave. And I mean, I feel bad for Monty Williams because he's a really good coach.
Oh, that's
But
another
it
good
seems
point.
like
Yeah.
it's like imploding around him, and I don't know what he does to fix it.
All right. Yeah, I mean, you bring up a good point, like about like Monte Williams, like he's kind of like just that coach that has to deal with these players, man, and just
He's got to figure out something.
try to pull up. So the next topic is So according to Dennis Schroeder, there's a report saying that I mean, obviously we all know that LeBron wants to play with his first son, Bronny. But there's a possible.
Oh, that's true.
Schroeder said that LeBron can play till he's 45. He wants to play with his Bryce too. I mean, hey, Tom Brady. I mean, obviously two different sports.
Yeah, true.
But Tom Brady's 45. Maybe 45 is the cap for LeBron.
What does LeBron look like at 45, though?
Definitely. I mean, if he can, hey, we've all said that he has put millions into his body. I'm not saying he might be the same as he was at 30, 25, whatever, but he can kind of be that since I mean by the time I mean obviously by the time he gets 45 he's gonna pass Kareem on the all-time list. So that's a lot of pressure off his shoulders. So he don't really have to do much. LeBron, I mean, just sit back, he's still putting up numbers this season. So I mean, but there's a report saying that he's Dennis Schroeder said that he wants to play with his two sons now instead of his Bronny. So I mean, you're shaking your head. You don't see that happening, or
I knew it was going to come out eventually because it was a couple of years he wanted to play with Bronny. I knew something's going to come where it's like, oh, maybe he could play with both sons. And it's like, one, I still have questions whether he could play with Bronny. Like, what? Bronny was eligible for the league, what, in 2 years?
it's like a year or 2 years, yeah. So he'll be what?
2 years from now, what's LeBron looking like?
I mean,
Because I think there's aspects of LeBron's game that probably won't age well.
age with age. Hey, just like that same saying, age like fine wine, man. I mean,
this wine, that label's looking a little rough. Because I feel like we're seeing LeBron's body break down a little bit.
yeah, like kind of in the groin area, yeah,
or hamstring or something like that. That kind of stuff is a little worrisome for an older player. Even like finishing around the rim,
like just
he's
depending.
not as good as he used to be. He misses. That's crazy to me when he misses layups because it's like I think that's a part of the game that you should be fine with now.
Right.
Free throw shooting late in the games where he seems to miss free throws. His jump shot still, has never been the best part of his game. His best part has been being that much bigger and faster than people that you gave him just the angle to the hoop. He takes full advantage of it and he gets to the rim. I kind of wonder with each age that's put on his body, does he look to do that less and less? Because I'm sure he doesn't want, like if he was 45, he probably doesn't want to be going to the hoop, running into, Jokic or Embiid or something and taking that hit night after night. So if you want to play with both sons, what are the odds that they can all end up on the same team? And does that mean you think like LeBron's still going to be in Laker land when he's 45? Like, then what do the Lakers look like at that point?
Yeah, I
They
mean,
kind of where they are now, or like last season, where they're not even a
yeah.
playing team, and now
I
he's
mean,
just
yeah, I
kind
just
of
see. Yeah, like, I saw a report like last night, or not a report, it's from Schroeder's interview, saying LeBron. Hey, knowing that LeBron, invests so much money into his body to keep. I mean, obviously, gives the season like now we're starting to see like injuries like to the groin,
right.
hip area. But I mean, as long as he can like stay healthy, stay healthy for the
That
foreseeable future
hasn't been the
into his.
past couple of years.
But I'm
I feel like
saying
you
like,
can't expect that any year after this.
but
He's
then again,
gonna miss games.
then it also depends on like what that team looks like in that future. Like, is it gonna have a couple superstars on the team with Bronny, like wherever he goes? You know what I'm saying? Like, it all depends on the workload of that team. Is does LeBron really have to do much on that team, on that specific team? Who knows? Like, he might leave the Lakers and play wherever Bronny gets drafted to. We'll see. But definitely, I mean, if he's
So
talking
now
about
that
it,
team's gonna have to cancel whatever plans they had to bring LeBron in. And once you bring LeBron in, basically your young players are going out the door because it's going to become win now mode with LeBron.
I
And
mean, we'll see.
LeBron's
I
not going to
mean,
wait around 3 4 years for young guys to develop. So, I, I mean, I don't know. It'd be interesting, sure, because I mean, I don't know of any other instance where a dad played with their son. It'd be a really cool moment as a dad. I mean, I'm not a dad, but I feel like
yeah.
that'd make him proud. I mean, the second son, I don't know much about his game, like how good
I
he
think
is
he's
or
not. I
whatever.
mean, to be honest, I think he's going to be a lot better than Bright or than Bronny because he's more like thicker, like Braun. He's a
Hmm.
more going to be like big body. I'm not saying Bronny's going to be bad. I'm saying like just fact of like their size. Like
Hmm.
LeBron, like Bryce is more like big bone, like LeBron. Like so, like imagine if he gets like 20, 25, like
Okay.
LeBron is his dad, so he's gonna be looking right. You know what I'm saying? Like so.
We don't know
Um,
that.
I mean, hey, I
Look at
mean,
Jordan's kids.
look at who's
This
kids.
Jordan's kids, they couldn't make the NBA.
I mean, all right, but Jordan, I mean, but LeBron has invested money and he has
I mean, I've had questions about Bronny where he kind of fits in the NBA. Because, I
yeah
mean, I haven't watched all of his games, so he could have gotten better. But the couple of times I did see it, I was like, okay, I mean, he can ball a little, but some people made it seem like, oh, Bronny's like guaranteed lottery pick or something. I was like, oh, I don't see that. Um, I don't know. It's going to be crazy because if it's something where Bronny goes somewhere and then now LeBron's trying to get to that team, then that becomes a whole thing. Like, how do you make that work? I don't know.
yeah. But yeah, definitely we'll see. If Father Time catches up to LeBron, we'll see. We'll see.
You've seen the commercials. Father Time's beating them a couple of times. God, I cannot stand that commercial.
Which one was him and
Remember
Aquaman?
Jason Momoa and the Father Time, and
Oh yeah,
like when they first made that
and
commercial,
then him and with God of War and
it was on like every commercial break of an NBA game, and I was like, okay, I get it, I get it. Just space them out a little bit.
I feel that. All right, let's quickly dive into the NFL. I know we're excited. I know your team plays tonight, actually on Monday Night Football against the
Yep.
Cardinals, so we'll dive into that. But let's talk about the previous games this week. Starting off with the Thursday night game. The Rams and Raiders. I mean, Rams. I don't. The prime time games are kind of getting uglier. The
Raiders
Thursday night.
Rams was a good game.
It was, but like low scoring. Not really.
I don't care about that. If it's a good game, I can handle it being low scoring. Because I've always said that the like Rams Patriots Super Bowl where it was like 13-3, and everybody's like, "Oh my god, that was the worst Super Bowl
I mean,
ever."
Derek
Like,
Carr had like the worst public rating ever, with 36.9. I mean, Rams,
there's been ratings lower than that. I've
bigger
seen
mid,
single-digit ratings.
but
Yeah.
you know what? Never mind, because this game, you know what? It was good because Baker Mayfield made it good because on that last drive,
Yeah.
with me being a Ravens fan, I mean, I'm happy that Baker Mayfield is in a good place in LA, and he made that. To be honest, I didn't know if you. I didn't think he had it in him to make that drive, but he got it done. He used the clock management to his likeness. He used a 2-minute warning as an extra timeout. Runs it down the field. Big Midfield had 230 yards, 1 touchdown. Actually, was a game-winning touchdown, and then had a 91.4 rating. Cam Akers had 12 carries for 42 yards. I mean,
he'd only been there for 48 hours.
Yeah, that's the thing too. Like, just on short notice. There was a report saying that the doctors, there was like a neurosurgeon that says that, I'm not sure if it's official, but they said that, like, in regards to Matt Stafford, the way he got hurt, he doesn't recommend him, sitting up ever again because, like, depending on if he gets hit in the same area, that can cause like severe nerve damage.
He has a spinal cord bruise. That sounds scary.
Right. And the doctor said that,
he has like one hit, he could be paralyzed.
Yeah, so he said that he has to think about, his career, his family. Obviously he'll make a decision probably after the offseason, if he wants to continue. Maybe he'll get it repaired, but like you said, spinal injury is anything in the neck, spinal area. I mean, we saw with Tua with the concussion. We saw how he ended up a couple weeks ago, later in the beginning of the season. So, but Baker Mayfield, like you said, up 48 hours of a short notice, came in and got a W, 16-17.
Well, Dylan and I said on the Big Three that when you count out Baker Mayfield, he plays at his best. That's what he based his whole college career on. He walked on.
Baker. He walked on somewhere and then walked on Oklahoma. Yeah. I mean, I kind of like seeing Baker Mayfield play that game because he was throwing some tight window passes, passes that should have been picked off. But he had that game-winning touchdown to who was the game-winning receiver or the receiver who caught the touchdown? Was it
Let me see. Was it?
I think it was Van Jefferson. Yeah, it was Van Jefferson. So yeah, that was a Thursday night game. The Sunday night game, Chargers and Dolphins. I mean, Chargers kind of upset the Dolphins 23-17. Herbert had 367 yards, 1 touchdown, no interceptions, QB rating of 102. Tua had 65.3 rating, 145 yards, 1 TD. The rushing, attack for Miami was, it was pretty 11 carries for 37 yards for Raheem Mostert. Eckler had 45 yards, about 15 carries, 3 yards per average, 1 touchdown.
Neither team really likes throwing the ball. Yeah.
So I thought it was a pretty good game. I don't know if it kind of hurt Miami's playoff chances. Obviously, a loss kind of, doesn't hurt them drastically, but
it only really hurt them in terms of winning the AFC East. I think because right now they're 2 games behind Buffalo, and I just don't know if they have enough games to make up that gap. But in terms of being a playoff team, they're still in it because they have 8 wins. And I think the first team outside the playoffs probably has 6 wins, so they have a little bit of a cushion there.
They got a tough. Not really. They got the Bills next week, and then they got Green Bay, which they should win. And Patriots are going to be a divisional game. It's going to be a good one. And they got the Jets. So they got to but
they definitely made it harder on themselves losing to the Chargers, but if they can get 2 out of their next 4, they should be fine. I think 10 wins get you in the AFC?
So I gotta talk about my Ravens, man.
I knew that was coming. Yeah.
That game. I mean, obviously we won, 16-14, but just the fact that Lamar was actually ruled out, so we knew he wasn't going to play. I know Dobbins came back though; he had a phenomenal game. Um, he had let me go back to my app, just stats real quick. Bear with me real quick. Okay, so Dobbins had 15 carries for 120 yards. His longest was a 44-yard touchdown, or almost a touchdown. So a 44-yard run. Gus Edwards had 66 yards off of 13 carries. But the fact that Lamar was ruled out before the game, so the starter quarterback was out of the picture. Huntley had a pretty decent game. Then he got hurt in concussion protocol.
Mm-hmm.
And then they had the Jersey natives, and I mean he's a good quarterback because he actually went to my cousin's high school in Jersey. Anthony Brown.
Mm-hmm. He played at BC. I know
him. He had 16 yards or 16 yards. I mean, obviously he had a low rating because he didn't really play much that game, like the last quarter. It just and then Pickett got hurt.
that's what won you the game. I think if Pickett finishes that game, the Steelers win. Trubisky, my God, those interceptions killed Steelers drive.
Raquan Smith had one, Queen had one, and then I think Marlon had a pick. No. It was Marcus Williams had a pick.
Yeah. He used one of the pick off in the end zone on that pass from Pickett that made no sense. I mean, not Pickett, Trubisky.
Yeah, I mean, and the fact that if Trubisky got hurt, then their tight end, who was a quarterback in college, would have came in. That would have been bad.
Well, yeah, that makes sense. I mean, once you get past most teams' second, or if you're carrying three quarterbacks, if you get past that, you have to turn to like a wide receiver or running back who might have played college a little bit. I mean, might have played quarterback a little bit in college. I'm pretty sure the Patriots, their emergency quarterback is Jacoby Myers because he played quarterback at Rutgers. Every team has one of those.
Yeah, that game is just like, I mean, yeah, win's a win. It's a division win.
Mm-hmm.
Just the fact that like QBs that are the starting QBs that were starting both got hurt.
Mm-hmm.
Now they're backups. Anthony Brown versus Trubisky. Trubisky, had like 3 or 4 picks. That's terrible. I mean, Najee Harris was going off though, in the first half. But I mean, we got the win. Now we move on to the next game. We play the who do we play next? I think we play either the Browns. I think. Oh, that game got flexed to like I think 4:30 or whatever. So, let me just double check that. Yeah, the Rave. Yep, it's at 4:30. I see on Saturday. This Saturday coming up, so it's a Saturday game. And you got the Falcons, Steelers, and Bengals. So, okay, so let's move on to the other games. So I mean, we're not gonna go through them all. I mean, Bengals beat the Browns 23-10. Now Cowboys. I mean, they almost lost to the Texans. I guess the question is, are the Cowboys overrated?
No.
In your opinion?
I guess that kind of depends on where you rate them.
I mean, they lost to a 1-9 team yesterday.
I mean, I feel like they're second best in the NFC East. That's not outrageous because I don't think they're better than Philly. In terms of the grand scheme of the NFC, I'd put them behind Philadelphia. I'd put them behind San Francisco. I've said several times, I've picked San Francisco as my second half team to do really well. The quarterback situation does make me a little bit worried, but that defense, I think can bottle up Dak Prescott and what he can do with that offense. So I think the Niners are better. Um, if you want to have an argument about Cowboys versus the Vikings, okay. But I think at best the Cowboys are probably third or fourth best in the NFC, and I think that's the correct rating for them. If you think they're higher than that, then yeah, I would say that they're overrated. But yeah, I still feel the same way after.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I mean, that game should have been a game that they should have not blown out the water, but at least it was close. The Texans game, but yeah, you're right. I mean, they're third in the conference right now. I think they are either third with Philadelphia at 12-1, Minnesota at 10-3, and then Dallas at 10-3. San Francisco right on their tails.
Like I said,
Giants
the
right behind
Niners
the
are better.
Washington.
Giants, yeah, you can forget about them.
Um,
But I feel like at times that offense against the Texans looked like really out of sync. Like Prescott, I mean, for the guy that they gave a lot of money to, he didn't really look like that type of quarterback against the Texans. Now, I'll give the Texans credit because I kind of said this to Dante when he was doing the play-by-play. The Texans' defense is legit. They have that side of the ball kind of figured out. If the Texans could figure out their quarterback situation, I think the Texans could be a very good team. And hopefully, they make a commitment to Lovie Smith and let him continue to build whatever he's got going on in Houston. Because I feel like a coaching change could set back what they kind of have been progressing towards this year. But yeah, their quarterback situation is a mess, and they have to figure that out. I'm assuming it's going to be Shroud or Bryce Young that ends up going there, and then we'll see. But yeah, I don't know. That game was crazy. I actually thought, that the Texans were gonna the Texans looked like the better team.
yeah, for the most part, yeah, from what I've seen too, yeah, for sure.
They just made some mistakes late that allowed the Cowboys to kind of come back in that game.
Yeah. So before we go to the week, is it week 15 games? No, week 16. Week 16. It would be. Wait. Am I tripping? No, yeah,
Right?
week 15. Yeah,
No, it's, the
so we're at
game
week
tonight is the end of week 14.
14.
So week 15 games.
Yeah. So before we go into week 15 games, I mean, I know your team plays tonight, Monday Night Football.
Hmm.
Just give me a recap on your team. They play the four. Oh man, I'm in the wrong week. They play the Cardinals.
Yeah.
New England is a 2.5 point favorite going to that game, tonight's game. So, I mean, is that understandable, or do you see the Patriots winning that game? What do you see?
So I mean, I think for all things considered, the Vikings game on Thanksgiving was a missed opportunity to get another win. So this game against the Cardinals is a must-win if the Patriots want to make the playoffs. Um, I think the spread makes sense. The only question would be the Cardinals with Kyler Murray. Sometimes scrambling quarterbacks give the Patriots issues, but I don't see that happening tonight because a lot of times the reason that was is because Judon was your major sack getter on one side of the line, and the other side was kind of a weaker guy. But Josh Uche has come on late, and now the two of them, I think, will be able to bottle Murray and keep him in the pocket. I want to see what the Patriots' offense looks like. Last game, Mac Jones, you might have remembered screaming out, the run game isn't working. So I have this weird feeling that tonight we're going to see the Patriots spread the ball out and just let Mac Jones throw it like 35 times. And I want to see what that looks like. I think if they do that, they can beat Arizona.
Okay.
My only worry is, DeAndre Hopkins being special, but I think the Patriots defense will be ready for him.
Okay. That's some good some good analysis. So let's go to Week 15 preview
Yep.
real quick. Go to our locks of the week, game of the week, and upset of the week. If you want to go first, then
Yeah.
so I can pull up my
Let's see. So it's our first week of Saturday games. I love when the NFL
Saturday
does
games.
Saturday
Oh wow.
games. Yeah, we get a triple header on Saturday.
Oh shoot.
Yeah, so we get Colts Vikings 1:00, Ravens Browns 4:30, Dolphins Bills 8:15. Other than Colts Vikings, only because of the Colts, not bad of a lineup on Saturday.
Yeah, not that bad at all.
Even Thursday, Niners Seahawks isn't bad either.
Oh, them gonna be tuned into that game.
Yeah. But I guess upset, I'll go with. Oh man, they have Patriots Raiders at even. Okay. I guess. Ugh. I honestly, it's gonna be tough to find an upset this week.
I know. I'm looking down the schedule.
I mean, okay, so I could see
if the money line is even and you pick like a team, is it an upset?
no.
Damn.
If they made the Jets the favorite, I could see the Lions beating the Jets.
Yeah, I was gonna.
That was the game I was looking at, but they have it even, so I won't call that one.
Damn, they got. I was gonna put the Raiders.
Cardinals. They have like 4 games that are even, and it's like all the games I would even be looking at. Okay. Like I said, I usually go out on a limb on upsets, and for some reason they kind of been hitting lately. Oh, you got one?
As far as an upset, oh man,
yeah, upset's gonna be the toughest one for me to find.
I'm choosing between Giants over the Commanders. That's risky though.
It is, but that's the type of game where it could happen. I've always said it with the Giants, their final games. One of the Commanders' games is probably a game that they could win.
Yeah, so I was going to take that one or Buccaneers over Bengals. I feel like Tom Brady is going to just. I don't know, man. That's not. Never mind. Bengals are going to win that one. I mean, even though they're a 3.5-point favorite, though.
That's also on the roads. That'd be like 6.5 at home. I think there's like serious questions about that Bucs team now, especially after the way they played against the Niners.
Oh yeah.
I mean, Brady was getting beat up. He's flexing his hand now because he hit it off a helmet. I think he basically came out and said like he's open. He's leaving all options open after the season. I mean, the way this year's gone, I fully expect him to retire, but I know it's a childhood dream of his to play for the 49ers. If Garoppolo leaves, does he give it maybe a year with San Francisco? I could see that.
You know what? Since I'm a Ravens fan, Browns are 2.5-point favorite over the Ravens.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to pick the Ravens, man. It's another division game.
Isn't Brown starting that game?
Huh?
Isn't Anthony Brown going to start that game?
I don't know. I don't think they announced it yet. I'm pretty sure.
I'm pretty sure Lamar's not playing.
Huntley's probably not.
If Huntley's in
I think they picked up Brett Huntley too. I think from.
That guy. I mean, I liked him at UCLA, but
I think they picked him up, but and then
they're gonna need a backup because if Huntley's in concussion protocol, I can't see the way. Basically, NFL teams have treated concussions as you're out for 2 weeks now, so I can't see him playing Saturday.
Plays very hard. He's a very smart player. So all those things add up. He's a versatile player. He can pass block. You put him out there in his zone. He did a really good job. He's a really good pass rusher.
And then I think my lock is gonna be the Chiefs over. That's an easy pick. Chiefs over Texans.
I mean, that defense though.
But Chiefs are a 14-point favorite, so.
Yeah, I mean, we're not picking against the spread. We might have to do that for next season. I like picking against the spread. It makes it a little bit more challenging.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, this week is tough.
It really is.
Because it can go either way. I mean, but I feel like I had confidence in my Ravens. It's a division game. I think we're 3-0 in the division. We want to play the Browns. They're trying to watch this first game in a couple years against us. I mean, our defense is looking good. Raquan Smith is holding up the middle of the field. I mean, if we can get picks like we did against the Steelers, man. I mean,
yeah, but it was only a 2-point game.
We had to stop Chubb. I mean, hey, but a win's a win, man.
The margin of error with the Ravens is so tiny right now. Yeah. Every game is it's like a boxing match with the Ravens because defensively, yes, they have really good pieces, but offensively, they're just so conservative.
Yeah, you're right.
It puts a lot of pressure on that defense, and as I said, you can throw on the Ravens secondary. Especially Humphrey.
Humphrey was getting beat a couple plays, but he did, kind of hold up his towards the end of the game. He kind of held it. But you're right
because he likes to take chances.
But him with Marcus Williams back, that's a big thing because he was hurt. He got a pick first game back.
Mm-hmm.
But definitely, I say I put a hold on the Ravens. This hold Lamar out until the playoffs. Keep him healthy. I mean, even though I would say maybe play him last game against the Bengals because they could be a deciding factor.
I think Harbaugh's worried about not winning that division because I think he knows with that team, if they could get even if it's just the first round.
That's why I think this week is crucial because
I think they'll be better off, and I think with the Bengals being the Chiefs, that was a game where the Ravens could have taken advantage of that. Hopefully the Chiefs beat the Bengals and the Ravens could have gotten a lead in the division, but it hasn't happened yet. And then when the Ravens lost to the Jaguars, that really hurt them. I still think the Bengals win that division only because with Chase back, Mixon back, I think the Bengals offense might be one of the more dangerous ones around the NFL. But Ravens defense will keep them in every game for sure.
Right. I mean, I feel like if Dobbins had a good game on the ground like he did, 100-something yards on the ground. I mean, he didn't get hurt. He just had to go into a little to remove some stuff from his knee. People thought he went down for injury, which he was hurt.
Mm-hmm.
ACL tear last year, but people thought he was hurt again, but he just wanted to recover and get that soft tissue off his knee, and obviously.
I mean, that still not optimistic to be he's going to get the knee cleaned up because that might turn into an every year type of thing. Because all the time when people have these knee injuries, they have to go in there and clean it up every once in a while.
Yeah.
So it could always be a thing with him. I mean, I know just for the picks, since I didn't make mine. I have the Eagles as my lock over the Bears. I think that's kind of an obvious one.
Yeah.
My upset, I still can't find one. But like I said, I usually go out on crazy limbs with it. And I'm going to go. I'm going to go the Jaguars over the Cowboys.
Jaguars over the Cowboys?
Yeah.
For your upset?
Yep.
Okay.
The Cowboys offense hasn't been too good the past couple weeks, and I think with this Jaguars team, their defense isn't terrible, and Lawrence and Zay Jones and those guys seem to be getting better, so I could see the Jaguars knocking off the Cowboys.
Okay. Well, I think that concludes our episode. Any final thoughts before we get out of here?
I mean, it was good to see I guess Caleb Williams won the Heisman.
For
I mean,
sure.
I saw some
Did
story before
you
with the
expect
whole.
him to win that, or do you think Stetson
I
Bennett?
did, yeah. I didn't think Bennett had a shot. I thought the only person who probably would have competed with Williams would have been Duggan. I mean, Duggan, only because his performance in the Big 12 championship game was like the last thing on people's minds. So I thought that might have gotten him a few votes, but I thought it was Caleb Williams to lose. Philadelphia Eagles going to win the Super Bowl. Okay.
Who said that?
Facebook user. I don't know what that is.
The Philadelphia Eagles are gonna win the Super Bowl.
That might be Gene Hayden as a Facebook user. I'm serious.
Maybe. I was thinking that.
But
hey,
it will happen.
Facebook user, thank you for the feedback. I wish I had knew a name, but thank you for the contribution. But I don't know. I feel like in playoff time, it's like anything can happen. Like regular 0-0 in the playoffs. So that's a bold statement. But I mean, I can understand that because
there's certain teams that you kind of know in the playoff picture that. Oh, let's say his name, Jermaine. What's up, Jermaine?
Oh, so, it's just Jermaine Fraser. That's my friend Jermaine. That's him, but.
Oh, okay. Oh, hey, appreciate the comment. Keep them coming. But, I mean, if I'm looking at legitimate title contenders for the Super Bowl, I feel like you can look at Eagles, Chiefs, Bills. I think Niners outside of their quarterback issue. That might be Bengals for me. Outside of that, I would be kind of surprised. And that's even with Miami because, I mean, Tyreek Hill got hurt last night. Have to see what that does to them.
Yeah.
And when Tua's gone up against pretty good defenses, he's kind of struggled. So I think that's worrisome a little bit.
Yeah, but like you say, big props to Caleb Williams for getting a Heisman. Much deserving. And yeah, I mean, I think it's a good. This was a good episode. We started off strong with the Brittney Griner. Then again, I mean, if y'all have any other comments on that, we'll touch base on that next show. My teacher says she's gonna give me a cupcake because. I gotta put this up. Oh my god! My teacher says she's gonna give me a cupcake because she is an Eagle fan, Philadelphia Eagles fan, and she's going to give me a cupcake because the Giants.
Okay, so I guess they had a bet of a cupcake over the Eagles and Giants.
I guess so. Yeah, Jermaine, that's awesome, brother. That's awesome, man.
Pretty bold for the Giants fan to actually go ahead with that wager because there was no shot they were winning that game.
Right. But yeah, like I said, thank y'all for Key and Coach Dante and Jermaine for tuning in, chiming in. That's what we like. It shouldn't be. I mean, it should be just me and Kyle talking. But if y'all have hot takes y'all want to discuss, and like I said, I put the comment up.
I had it backwards. Okay, yeah. She was the Eagles fan.
I'm a Giants fan.
Yeah, I said that wrong.
Lost, I bet to her. Oh, gotcha. But yeah. I mean, it's been a good episode. I mean, I got the holidays coming around the corner, Christmas. Hope everyone is safe. But before we get out of here, like we always do, how can people find you?
I mean, there's quite a few places. Tuesday night. With you and Dylan, Big 3 podcast on Sports Empire Network. Thursday nights with Gene and Godfrey, 7 o'clock, pregame and pigskin. We have that show that's going to be like next Monday.
Oh, yeah, the
Cheap Seats podcast.
Oh, yeah.
That show's going to be crazy. Definitely got to check that one out. I have my own show that I do. Chomping at the bit, and like I said, I just did an episode with tier list maker, and I kind of ranked all the NBA teams to see who were like the legitimate contenders. So, check out my YouTube channel and, let me know what you think about that episode. And then, yeah, on here with you every Friday or Monday or whenever we just kind of get together and drop an episode.
I apologize. Yeah, I've been kind of I was sick last Friday, so I was.
It's fine.
It's fine. But
it's good content, man.
Yes, sir.
They get it and they like it. So.
Yup. But I think I'll wrap it up. Just any final thoughts? Just anything you want to tell the fans or tell the supporters? I mean,
I guess something would be support the WNBA. I mean, I'll just say it. I feel like grand scheme of things with everything going on. Like this talented.
It's funny how we're getting more viewers when we're gonna end. We got like 4 viewers right now, but it's all right.
No, I'm just saying. I don't know. Just enjoy this time of the holiday season.
Yeah, for sure.
Reach out to people maybe haven't talked to in a while. It's good to just check in, and it'll really help them out because you could be someone you could turn around somebody's day.
Oh,
so just spread love and all that.
Yeah, Jermaine, I know you, brother. From SharpRate. I know you, Jermaine Fraser, man. How you doing? Thanks for listening to the show, man.
Yeah, appreciate that. Just spreading love, around the holiday season, and don't play into all this division, the divisiveness that goes on in the world. Life's too short for all that, And when you kind of participate in that, you don't know. You could be missing out on getting to know somebody that's really cool. So, nothing but love.
Right. Well, that concludes today's episode. I am the host, your boy Big J. Again, my right-hand man, Kyle Edwards. It was a good show, y'all. So have a good rest of the day.
Yep. See you guys later.